Welcome to whatever the heck episode this is. We don't care because we drink beer
We
and
lost
that's
count.
all there is to it. So,
I think
welcome, boys.
episode 2787.
287?
No,
It could very well be.
787.
Oh, 2087. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, just like the math of people calculating how many. Good Lord, that terrified me. Look at that. New glasses. Look at that. Fresh out of the box. They're so. This background filter really kills everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, so boys, what are we drinking tonight? I know that you,
Hey,
Alan.
First of all, it's
Mhm.
happy Canadian Beer Day, everybody. Today is Canadian Beer Day.
I had no idea. Like, where is this? Who actually set this up? Canadian Beer Day?
Apparently, the craft beer industry in Canada set this up. And last year, 2019, was the first one, and today is the second annual.
CanadaBeerDay.ca. October 7th, 2020. Celebrate a Canadian. Wow, I can't talk. This is the day to drink Canadian beer, is pretty much all they're trying to tell you.
And we have a bevy of it.
We do. What have you got? You and Dave have the same thing, do you not?
Yes.
Indeed,
Dave, introduce our beer.
What is it, Dave?
All right. This badass, I thought it was kind of appropriate for the day, given the news that we had yesterday.
This is true.
So,
the bad news, of course, being that we lost Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
And,
shocking.
Yeah.
He's only 65, for Christ's sake.
Cancer does that to you.
Kinda.
And it was sad because the day before AC/DC announced that they've already recorded their next album and it'll be coming out either before Christmas or after the holidays, which of course, Locke, means they're going to be going on tour again with the full crew.
Ooh.
They're going to be there. Of course, the lead singer has returned, and all of everyone is back. The band, minus Malcolm, of course, are going to be going on tour, I gather, next year. The album is called Power Up, so there you go. PWR.
Sweet.
Up. And then, of course, the next day, Eddie Van Halen passed away. So that's so sad. Locke, what are you drinking?
Right. So I am drinking a Imperial India Pale Ale called Fracture. Its can looks like
That's cool.
a
That is
zombie
cool.
Lich King, or maybe the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, in his Thriller with a crown, like from his later years. I don't know. It's that kind of a can. And it's from Amsterdam Brewery. Now, Amsterdam are the same people that make Bone Shaker. I don't know if I've talked to you about Bone Shaker, but it is the Toronto style of IPA, which is to say maltier than most. Yeah, Bone Shaker, right? Well, it's kind of like a bad talk, isn't it? It's it's I don't know what it is with the heavy hitter, like 7% alcohol beers. They always have a name that sort of rattles the bones, if you like. Anyway, the Fracture experience is a new one to me, and this is I like it better than Bone Shaker.
Wow.
This is complex, has sort of a honey tone to it. I normally don't do sweet beers, but this has got enough sort of roundness and complexity. There's enough.
So now,
This was hidden away in an abbey somewhere by monks,
Right,
so
right.
drunk that they couldn't
where
remember
is
what
that
the beer.
brewed? Where was that brewed, Locke?
So Amsterdam Brewery are Toronto's premier craft brewer and have been for a very long time. Like back before craft brewing was a recognized thing. They were. I don't know exactly what date though.
So they're basically like.
I don't think they're as early as '84, which is the sort of the mark of 84 would be, I mean, that's
Spinnakers
or Deschutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But I think Amsterdam, certainly I remember them in the 90s. They've been around for a good long time.
Okay. Cool.
I'd like to know more. That's something I'll have to look up. I am without research tools right now. I've decided to spend some time in my front room because I have multiple rooms.
Ah, yes. So you're away from the technology.
The technology is all like right now. I'm in study mode. So if I were there, I would be distracted by case law.
There's not a whole lot of people out there that I know that would say I would be distracted by case law. So I decided to leave that in the other room.
Hey, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight, I'm drinking from the House of Funk Brewing Company, which is the North Van Brewery. I picked up now the beer that I got this from was mainly because of the artwork on the front, which I'm hoping my filter won't totally kill. Yeah, it totally will. But essentially, if I keep moving it, but essentially, it's like it's the beer is
awesome
called
Ooga Booga kind of.
It's Ooga Booga. It's called Radagast. So it's a double sour IPA. Radagast, of course, being a famous wizard. If you like to read books, it's a rotating double sour IPA brewed with oats, wheat, and barley malt. Radagast was aggressively hopped and in the whirlpool and during fermentation. After fermentation and conditioning, Radagast was blended with an aged sour beer of some sort that I don't know what that word is. Anyway, it's a strong beer running in at 865% alcohol by volume. And
Take that, bad dog.
I open the can and all you see is an eruption of flames, and then I disappear. Oh, but cracking the can though, that is really. I'm sorry, Peanut Gallery, you're not getting any.
All right. Well, while Shane's pouring here, Dave, what are your thoughts on the jam session from How Sound?
Yeah, unfortunately not quite what I was hoping for. As usual, it seems, if you're looking at, the fruit type flavors, they seem to be, how shall I put this, mild, to say the least.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get a nice hit when you take your whiff. It's definitely got raspberry going on. You can smell it.
Mm.
But
Maybe a little bit.
Taste it? No. Well, it's pretty
watery.
It is kind of, isn't it? There's not a lot of body to it, I guess.
There's no body. There's no flavor.
No, it is
What the hell is this crap?
I don't want to say bad things about a Canadian brewery, and How Sound puts out a lot of stuff that I do like, particularly their rail ale.
Solid.
That is, to me, one of their best beers. I also have got Woolly Bugger, which I've actually never tried. I have a Woolly Bugger bottle sitting, and I'd like to open it one of these. But this one here is not products. I would not get this again. I would almost rather take a dish, a sink full of dirty dishwater, empty that into a glass, and drink that. Then
So, Alan, I guess the beer is okay then?
I mean, look at it. There's no head on it. There's a little bit of effervescence going on, but not a lot. Well, not really. Your head's basically gone.
Well, it didn't last long.
Doing references to drinking the Kool-Aid.
There is no mouthfeel. There's no body. Very little flavor. Like what? I paid what, $4 for this? I mean, what do I buy?
What style of beer did it say that it was?
It is a raspberry cream ale.
I guess if you think about the sort of people that you would market a raspberry cream ale to.
Hello, Dave.
It's definitely not Alan, I guess.
Not me.
Hey,
Dave. Dave is their key demographic there.
I was going to say the Radler lovers of the world are very excited about this particular beer.
German people.
So Dave,
I don't know.
Dave, if you are Alan loves this beer. Obviously, he's raving about it in all kinds of positive ways.
Totally.
And you are supporting his assessment.
Well, I'm supporting it. I can't say full-throated support. It's a little more strongly worded than I would word it. And it's, again, I say this because I'm not a real beer drinker, right? It's
all right.
I got it because I was kind of hoping for something that'd be a little bit of
you're in the spotlight, Dave. Come on,
going on. But I thought it'd be kind of a smoother, right? Because it's a cream,
right,
supposedly, and a nice bit of raspberry. Who doesn't like some good raspberries once in a while? And yeah, just no, exactly.
Alan, you wish you'd like to launch a retort?
That's what I think of their raspberry.
Well, I gotta say that I hear to that. I fully support the.
Again,
the
no
absolute-
disrespect to How Sound Brewing. Love their products usually, but this one's a miss.
Yeah.
Well, this one is not a miss. It's fragrant. It's tasty. It's a sour. It is beer that I fully support. It is beer I support. I support this beer. My filter doesn't like it apparently, but you know what? It's a really good sour. I'm enjoying this one. The sour is not heavy at all, and it's very tasty. Like they've really married a lot of good flavors in here, and especially with 865% alcohol by volume.
I'll have to see if I can find that.
It was readily on the shelf. I picked it mainly because I saw the artwork right away, and I thought that's the beer I'm taking home. But it wasn't until I got outside after buying it that I realized it was from oh my god, House of Funk, and which I know we've talked about House of Funk, and possibly some of us have already had some of their product on the show,
No,
but I
I don't
don't
think we
remember.
No, never heard of it before.
Are they micro batching stuff?
I think so. I mean, a lot of the North Van ones are definitely small breweries, well, it's like they call themselves nano breweries. I think. So
They're like some Rad Secret and that kind of thing.
Exactly. So, but I have seen their stuff around more often lately, and I've never noticed. Hopefully, it won't kill it, but I haven't noticed this particular. Oh my god, this particular can. This can. You know, it's cool. It's very cool. It's got like kind of a sort of an Asian sort of influence, but sort of merged or married with indigenous Canadian art. So I don't know.
It looks like a bug.
It's a wizard, I guess, Harry. But I mean, you can never go wrong with the House of Funk logo. Look up the House of Funk Brewery, and their logo is really cool too. So overall, I give it a thumbs up. This is a sour that I think even that Dave could get behind. So
nice.
If you can find it, do give it a whirl.
House Funk. Never heard of them before as a brewery.
In other beer news, Shane and I both picked up from Phillips their Crooketer Tooth, which is a barrel-aged pumpkin ale that's on shelves now. And I saw a post from Vancouver Island Brewing today that they are in the middle of canning their
Other. Alan's
Apparently,
died.
it's a state secret. And they have jumped in.
You got to get a real computer, man. We have no idea what you've said for the past 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, I was talking about Crooketer Tooth is on the shelves now.
That's what we heard, and then you froze.
Okay, and then I saw a post from. The funny thing is, you guys didn't freeze. I completely had you guys the entire time.
I know, because your computer sucks and ours don't. So, and he froze again.
Oh,
I do think I have problems on this end. So what about whatever the hell you were talking about? Now I can't hear him at all. Can you guys hear Alan? Alan's totally gone silent. Can you hear a thing?
yep.
It is registering that there's sounds sort of coming through, but yeah. Get out of here and come back.
That's an awesome background.
You know what's really funny though? This is the 12th Doctor's background.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
This is the Capaldi background that I found.
Okay.
I found somebody actually rendered it and looped it from the opening. So
Cool.
So there we go. There's Alan.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. Alan, tell us about what you were telling us before.
Okay, so, and then I saw a post from Vancouver Island Brewing that they're in the middle of canning.
Can you hear that?
I can, but you can't. Keep going, Alan. Keep going.
They're in the middle of canning their Herminator for this year. So
in the middle of canning. Keep going.
The Herminator for this year.
They're canning the Herminator as we speak. All right. That's so that you can hear Alan from across the.
I'm just going to sit here and drink my dishwater.
Locke looks so unimpressed. Technology is the worst. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sue technology out of existence. When I get my law degree in this country, you guys are in trouble, technology. So anyway, so this is actually a really good segue into speaking of technology. Is Great Canadian Beer Fest, we knew a while ago was canceled or postponed until next year, the spring or December 12th or whatever the hell date they picked. But they postponed it, due to COVID, of course. And so Marvel just a couple of days ago moved all of their films ahead, like 6 months. And they also DC is doing a very, very similar thing where a lot of the movies that they had coming out this year are being pushed. Disney has moved everything like to next autumn. So these companies are hurting, but you know what? I think they'll survive long term. They're just going to have hurt for a while. But this means that, of course, a lot of stuff, like not movies, but a lot of stuff is going online, specifically for being able to show off, try and do their festivals and stuff online. The online festival that Alan has discovered is coming out of North Van, which you said or according to the article, is I think I'm trying to find it here. The North Shore Enjoy Craft Beer Festival is going to be online, celebrating the blossoming craft beverage scene in Western Canada, like a decade late, and but essentially, it's of course going to be entirely online. And what are your guys' opinions about online stuff right now? Because some of them have been done very well with a lot of planning and a lot of organizing. They tend to be successful, but a lot of them, because the technology seems to get in the way, these festivals kind of fall on their faces a bit. Because I was actually trying to just the other day to enjoy some improv stuff. I'm not sure what is it actually called. It's not the Canadian. Anyway, improv festivals, and this is not the only one, have moved online, and they don't work for me. I mean, I'm sure that there are people that love them, but I think they work more for the people putting them on. But for the audience, they tend to be not awesome. And how do you enjoy a beer festival if it's entirely virtual? Like, is there a way to do it? Is there not a way to do it? What are your guys' sort of thoughts about that?
Personally, I wouldn't bother.
You wouldn't bother?
I wouldn't bother. No, because the whole thing is the experience of being there, and being able to chat with the folks that are doing the beers, chat with the folks that are enjoying the beers, just hang out, enjoy the vibe, right? With your fellow humanoids. Well, what do you got when all you're doing is online? You've got faces and what? Like, you're going to talk about the cute glasses you're drinking out of? I don't think so.
Locke, what do you think?
So, yeah, I mean, for me, you know, like, I think that beer festivals online are probably not going to deliver the things that people do beer festivals for. I like to think of myself as a beer festival, generally speaking, generally, like, I go about my business as if I were a beer festival.
I was just going to say, you're a beer festival?
But that said,
I agree with that. I think that is a fair statement, sir.
Beer festival, you know, myself. I guess I feel like, you know, maybe... Yeah, I mean, the reason you do it isn't it because you want to see what everybody's bringing to the table, and there's this competitiveness and different people are trying different things. They're trying to get a little bit of notoriety, a little bit of an edge, and there are all these people teaming about. And you meet women, you get their phone numbers, and that's good. You know, you don't do that online. And I mean, I should get people's numbers online. I don't know. I don't even know how that works.
I guess.
Like
maybe. Isn't it about their email address? Aren't you capturing email addresses right now?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
in this day and age, and they're like, eat my butt at hotmail.com, jerkwad.
Yeah, like I'm so far removed from that with like in the age of the plague and everything else. Like I basically keep to myself. I don't really go out much. I don't talk to people really, except for you guys. You know, like, I mean,
it's funny you say that, because somebody that we know is still, you know, he's on the dating scene, and he's actually said his dates have gotten better because of COVID, where he's finding that people seem to react better if it's like, hey, do you want to go to the beach and hang out, you know, 6 feet apart, share a bottle of wine, and, you know, that, you know, we'll have gloves or whatever. But he's found that
or at least separate glasses, one would think.
Separate glasses too, yes, of course. But the experience has been more positive because it removes a layer of like that I don't know, that sort of that tension that some people can feel about meeting somebody new, and you know, so I think it's, you know, maybe you should try that. Take people to the. Do you have a beach near where you live? Not really, but I guess you
no. I don't mean that. I mean like okay, so the kind of people that flirt with me, generally speaking, I don't trust to be the sort of people who I would think are probably well protected from, you know, contracting plague diseases. It's not a good fit. Like,
so you'd rather?
I've got plenty of knocks, but it's not one of those things where it's sort of like, oh gee, yeah, okay, yeah, oh yeah, I figure I can trust you. You're all of 23, and maybe you know, your idea of social distancing means that you don't use tongue, and you know, like.
Well, I guess. Well, you know, I mean, this is true. I mean, I'm painting with a broad brush because I have not been following what's been going on in Ontario. Although it sounds like the province is on fire. and 50,000 people dying per day kind of thing. Because that's all that's in the news about, even over here, is that you're hearing about BC has 3 more infections, and there's been a few more hospitalizations. But Ontario, 760 million people have died today, and it's like that kind of news, and it's like, oh God, what is going on? And yes, the broad brush is that it seems to be a lot of it is driven by groups of people such as dumb people who are really young that don't have the brain capacity yet to kind of go, it's not about me, it's about all of you people, that I will protect you from me, and then everything will be okay, or at least better, to a certain degree. But then, of course, you have the anti-masker movement, which seems to be, what's going on in the States right now? Oh, God, it's totally on fire. So, yeah, who knows? It's unfortunate, but I'm glad you're safe. So you hang out at home, you get your beer delivered, and everyone's fine. What about you, Dave? What have you encountered with your COVID stuff lately? Because we've talked about it quite a bit, but not all that recently.
My COVID stuff. Jeez, I feel, I don't know what you think, Alan, but I feel like we're in a little bit of a bubble. Mm-hmm. Now, Alan and I have slightly different situations because Alan still goes into work, has to face people. I don't have to face people. I work at home. So I guess I'm, a little protected that way, a little more bubbly even. But I think we on Vancouver Island are quite bubbly in general, just because we're an island. Hey, what are you going to say?
Look, is it not true that like, Shane, Alan, back me up on this. Is the island not a little bit, in terms of social behavior, reclusive? Like you don't, like, different scenes don't necessarily hang out with each other on Vancouver Island. Is that not true?
I would say that's true, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people kind of tend to stick together in their own little bubbles anyway. People socially distance as a natural phenomenon on Vancouver Island.
Yes.
I think, too, that us BCers have a different attitude as well, though. I don't know what the other two of you dudes think that are still in BC at the moment, but, Locke, obviously you've been here enough, you've probably seen kind of a difference in attitudes, right? Between Easterners and BCers. It's, I don't know how to describe it, but it seems like it's a thing.
I've been social distancing since high school. It's been kind of imposed.
Socially distancing since high school.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fair, Alan. That does
nobody would talk to me. Nobody would eat lunch with me. Maybe tell this to Locke for me.
He's getting the picture. Yes,
he's getting the picture. So
you were socially you were a pariah at school.
I was ostracized. Let's put it that way.
it's because of your hair. Like back then, your hair was like flowing. You were like Mick Jagger.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. I started going 14,
I know. I was there. I watched
in history class, we were learning about the Garibaldi, and that's what everybody started calling me. Emphasis on the baldy. I'm not making that up. That's actually happened.
I have a really great photo that I took of Locke many, many years ago, where he was like he had hair down to here kind of thing, and I cannot remember when exactly I took that photo, but I got to tell you, the sexiest photo I have of Locke is right here, and let me share my screen for a brief moment just to show you how awesome Locke is, and here you go, Locke.
Oh yeah,
this is how. Look at how sexy that guy is. Look at that. That is like one of my coolest photos of Locke ever. This is at a dog beach in Vancouver, probably 10 years ago. But that was Locke, and the ladies were hovering.
So,
Really?
so
But,
I'm sure they still are.
Well, you say the ladies were hovering. There's only one occasion when you could have taken that photo, and what you are looking at there is me that has just witnessed this business of where so there were two big male pugs and a female pug, and one of the male pugs jumped the female pug. Female pug
Yep.
was
That could very well have been true. So here you go.
and then turned around and barked at the male pug.
I call this the punk rock collection of photos of Locke.
Yeah. There was a time when I
Nice.
kind of looked that way, didn't I?
I believe this was at the 4 Mile liquor store.
Oh,
I was going to say that looks familiar.
The 4 Mile liquor store,
Anyway.
when Locke was working there. So yeah,
that'd be about right. Yeah,
that is very true. I was just doing a little math here. Now the big thing with Vancouver Island is there's water between the rest of the continent and
We have our
it,
own,
of course, and there's also only about just shy of say 700,000 people on the entire island. So Victoria and
Actually,
the area around
closer,
Victoria is
yeah.
about
It's
350.
actually over 800,000 now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm going off census data from 2016 though, so this is a bit out of date. So, but Vancouver Island, the bulk of the population is sort of around Victoria and that kind of area, and the peninsula and the sort of south, Malahadish area.
Sure.
And then you go beyond that, and then the next sort of bulk populations are Nanaimo, I guess Duncan, but I'll include Duncan in the South Island. And then, of course, the further north you go, the more. There's what do they call them? Shitholes, like Black Creek, and that's where Dave's from.
Listen, bitch.
Sorry. Did you like that segue, Dave? But but Dave, when you were growing up there, how many people lived in the area? Like, did you see a lot of? Like, would you say that there was maybe 50 people within 5 kilometers of you, kind of thing?
Well, it's probably not far off.
Yeah.
Is it the
And
kind
Campbell
of thing where
River,
you do
Campbell River is
everybody-
the last real town.
The last real town, Campbell River.
It's the last kind of town of any size. Once you get north of that, it's just it's people that don't like people. That's where you go. It's north.
People that hate people. Okay, all right.
That's
Well,
north
I mean-
of Campbell River.
So does everybody up there have hyphenated first names like Becky Sue and Jim Bob? And
No, that's you're talking about south there, dude. That's north.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, things done a little differently up north there.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at the BC COVID numbers, the COVID experience as it's called, which is weird. You'd think that the COVID experience would be them giving you the disease, but according to Vancouver Island Health, you guys have one new case today. One. That are, but of course, Vancouver Island Vancouver Island Health also includes part of the mainland, like the
Might be
Powell River or Kitimat or northernish Bella Coola, those sorts of towns. So, which I'm a little surprised at, but hey, the numbers don't lie. But essentially, the people that are getting it tend to be in their 40s on the island. What's wrong with you guys? The
how many cases are on the island right now? Active cases.
You guys have active cases. You have 0 in the hospital, 0 in ICU. In total, there's 222 cases, but active cases are 12. And I was reading just yesterday that they were all at home, that they were self-monitoring at home. So my assumption is they probably went into somewhere. Now, Vancouver, coastal, where I am, which is the hotbed of the province, we have 427 active cases. And 32 new cases today. So
I think Ontario 427 active cases announced today.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that Ontario is burning to the ground. In terms, at least the Toronto area. I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the province, but the Toronto area seems to be the hotbed, which makes sense because there are so many people there.
Quebec is actually.
So let me tell you something that's curious about the situation here in Toronto.
Yeah, okay, let's hear it, Locke.
So, if you wanted, for example, during these playtimes, with the COVID going on, if you wanted to sue somebody in small claims court, which is meaning any claim up to, say, $35,000. So if you wanted to sue somebody for $35,000, like just say, I don't know, there's a lot of material available to assist you in filing your claim online in Ontario.
So are you suggesting that we just randomly start suing people in Ontario for?
What I'm saying is that up until between the March lockdown and September the 11th, everything was on hold. So processing dates, all of that, all on hold. So we're not the clock hasn't started ticking or anything like that. But once the clock does start ticking, what you have is 22 days to respond with a defense, or you're in default, right? So what kind of materials do you suppose they would have available online for how you file a defense online in the age of COVID-19? Guess what? They don't actually have that at all.
Really?
No. If you want to file a defense, you'd better run around a whole lot and figure that out, because that's what's going to happen if you're going to know what you need to do. So for all that most of Ontario's small claims courts have reopened, Toronto's have not, because Toronto's still in lockdown. So any documents that you would normally file at that court, no, you can't file them there. And none of this is online. None of this is available. So you can sue people all you want. Can you defend yourself if you're being sued? Well, no, unless you want to do a lot of running around.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I mean, that is something that I think that happens in Ontario and only there. I mean, where else would that happen in this country? I mean,
it's very
I'm just
Ontario-ish. I will admit that it is Ontario-ish to the nines.
And they were never able to bring the $1 a beer thing through. Like, what the hell,
was that
man?
anyway, though, no. Like that was nonsense in the first place.
That was total nonsense, but it's awesome at the same time.
It made it lawful to charge $1 for a beer. It didn't make it economically viable.
Well, I mean, that's why it never went through, because it was a ridiculous thing. But you compare it to say, like, the last.
It's got no effect in any event.
Well, you compare it to what's going on in the States right now, with all the promises flying around for the election down there, and it all seems so quaint that there's all the stuff's going on, and then you look north of the border, and it's like, we're $1 a beer, and that's like an election platform promise. You know what I mean? Our priorities are so incredibly straight and on board. I mean, come on, there's no crazies here. But what was that, Peanut Gallery? Only in Canada? Keep playing your Candy Crush. But it's completely you know, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist because I was watching a show the other day where Tom Wopat here. Tom Wopat was the villain in the show. So it was like an episode of The Blacklist or something. And I was like, oh my God, that's Tom Wopat. But there you go. So I couldn't resist. I had to give this to Alan. This is for Alan right here. This is season 1, by the way, if anyone's asking. Not that anyone is going to bother to ask, but there you go. Actually, I hit not Sorrel, but over here, Sheriff P. Coltrane. I actually tweeted with him a little bit before he passed away. He had like this art thing, and I tweeted at him, you know, something ridiculous like, "Oh my God, you're the best guy ever." Is this going to play the entire episode? I didn't even bother to check. maybe I should go back here. But essentially, it tickled me that he actually tweeted back, and we had a couple of words back and forth. But
were they
nothing too exciting? But well, I mean, it started as me saying, "I really like Dukes of Hazzard," blah 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 blah, and then he's like, "Shut up! What the hell's wrong with you? Buy my art, you jackass!" He was very nice. Could you imagine? Although, you know, I have to say that I would have loved for him to have done like the laugh that he did in the show, like over Twitter. Yeah, that's what exactly.
Let's get a flash hot pursuit.
Hot pursuit. I totally lost my train of thought. Damn you, Dukes of Hazzard. No words were ever exclaimed by anybody. I totally lost my train of thought. Guys, carry the show while I try to remember the hell I'm talking about.
So I went to a car show back in
1901, yes.
No. This would have been 87, I think.
Okay.
87. And so they had a Dukes of Hazzard TV cameo appearance by, I can't exactly, I think it was Cooter.
Okay.
It was Cooter they had there. And beyond that, it was a bunch of fucking ridiculous vehicles, including one that was like a car hot tub, you know what I mean? You know, that kind of thing.
Ask Locke where this show was at.
Locke, where was the show? Where was it located? Do you remember?
That's a good question. It was in Victoria.
If it was at
Victoria,
was it actually Browning area?
Yeah. Well, the Alan's asking because I do recall at some point way back when, when I was probably around 10 years of age. It was I remember going to a show where I got to sit in the General Lee or one of the replicas.
I was there too.
Yeah.
And there was another car. I think they had the Batmobile from the 60s
Monkey-mobile
show.
Maybe, yeah.
The Monkey-mobile.
Oh, that's right. The vehicle from the Monkees. Wow. But yeah. Oh, the A-Team van. That was the other thing too. The A-Team van. So
cool.
It was it was at Archie Browning in the Esquimalt.
The A-Team van is the fucking crazy van. It's like a van with like a specific stripe.
Did you? Is it at Archie Browning?
What?
Do you remember?
What?
The in Esquimalt? Was it in Esquimalt, or do you remember it all? The event. Was it in Esquimalt?
Oh, good question. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it was indoors. Put it that way.
I took photographs of some of the cars at that event, and I still have the photographs. I'll see if I can dig them out at some point.
If you can find the photographs, yeah, I have photographs of them, but I think they're still physical, non-digitally copies. So,
yes.
But yeah, I do. I know I have one of the A-Team van. I don't recall anything else, but I do have digital photos of the A-Team van when it was parked just like half a block down our street. It wasn't the real A-Team van, but somebody had actually taken the effort to actually paint their entire van with a roller to make it look like the A-Team van. And the best part is that the van was not even close to what the I don't remember what van it was, but
like
it does tickle me that
Dodge
they made an
Caravan
effort.
or something.
But now actually this begs a question: if you had one of those vehicles and you knew you were not going to die, would you jump any of those vehicles off of a ramp? This is what?
You would know that you would be known to police.
Well, yeah, exactly. But if you could jump those things like the General Lee, because I mean, and we know in reality that these vehicles, when they leap off of these things, they come down and they are basically destroyed. But if you could do it, would you do it? But the caveat is that you wouldn't die. Let's pretend that there's going to be no death in this, even if the car
I would
explodes.
Totally.
Yes,
Like, is that even a sane question to ask? Would you go over an awesome speed jump with no chance of death?
Yeah.
This is a good point. From that perspective, yeah. Why the hell not?
No, yeah,
I'll take my car off of it. I don't have one, but I'll do it anyway. I'll borrow somebody's car and completely just.
I elect so. Indeed, please make this happen. Very good.
I would do a moped.
Now, okay. What vehicle? What vehicle would be your ultimate choice? Well, all of them. Okay, yeah. But if you could only take one, which vehicle would it be if you only could do once?
Well, I gotta say it's gotta be a '69 Charger. It's gotta be the General Lee, and not just any Charger. It's gotta
General
be
Lee. All right.
It has to be an RT '69.
It has to have the flag, the numbers, the whole thing,
everything.
So Locke is challenging you that this is the any vehicle of all time. That's the one you choose.
Well, either that or Kit.
Okay.
Or Kit. Who thought of Kit? That's right.
With the turbo boost.
With the turbo boost, yeah.
Would you turbo boost over a steep incline jump to jump over a river? Is that what we're jumping over? Whatever we're jumping over, we're jumping over it. We're jumping a car, and we want to know how we want to land. Oh, how do I want to land? How do I want to land? Jeez.
Well, if the caveat is that no one is going to die, there has to be explosion. Exactly. Rolls Royce.
And that's how I want to land.
Did you ever Mopar junk? Really? Hey, by the way, our number one fan, Julian from the SS Coast, is watching now, apparently.
Hey, Julian.
Thank you, Julian, for coming. The beers this evening have been from the realm of Sourdom from North Van, the House of Funk. Alan and Dave have been enjoying a beer that I can't remember the name of.
Jam
there you go, the Jam
Yeah.
Session from House Sound. Locke has died and disappeared somewhere.
He's back with attack.
And he's got a new beer. All right.
Fracture.
The Fracture.
Fracture.
By the way, I was laughing when you were introducing that beer because you were saying it looks like Michael Jackson, and I was expecting you to say as he would look if you were to dig him up today.
No. I think that's how he looked in the '80s in that video.
That is true. That is very true. But so, Dave, now I have no concept of what your dream vehicle is. What is your dream vehicle, and that you would take off and jump it over the South Park chasm of doom?
Wow. Well, I guess I would say the first thing that came to mind for me was, of course, General Lee.
Okay, all right.
Just
Generally,
because.
the Generally is an obvious one. That's very true.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's fair. But what, are we opening this up to the entire world of Cardin?
Yes.
Or
Okay.
any vehicle. Locke says any vehicle throughout time that you could think of that you could jump over.
I wasn't really sure about the question, so I introduced that element. But yeah,
No, that's totally fine. I mean, I was picking on the General Lee, but of course, I think any vehicle is fine. So, I mean, I'm trying.
Wow.
I'm thinking back into what I mean. I would like to jump the General Lee. I'd like to jump them all, but
Hey, I've got a new entry here. I just thought of this. Okay, I would get a Kuwahara BMX bike with a basket in the front with ET sitting in it, and I jump that.
You know what's really weird about you saying that is that I was actually because you and I were talking about it a while ago. I think this time last year, and I was looking up where you could buy that replica bike, and there are people out there. Kuwahara did release it again, I think, for the 20th or 25th anniversary of ET. But people are actually basically making replicas of the bike and selling them online. And apparently copyright law doesn't care. But yeah, you can buy it with the replica, the basket, the whole thing. So there you go. To be honest, I was never. I mean, I had a bike, but I wasn't a bike guy. You know, I had to break my arm to get at my first BMX bike. Not on purpose, of course. But yeah, no, it was cool.
You know what? Insert in real life, in air quotes, I would jump a Tesla sport model.
Oh,
really? Why Tesla? Come on!
Are you kidding me? Have you seen the fucking videos?
I have
car. And that car will beat anything in a drag, hands down.
Oh, but that's crazy. True of most electrical vehicles, right? Because they don't have that.
Drag racing, electrical versus gas is not the same thing at all.
Yeah, no, there's no contest. I mean,
so that's the thing, right? If you're gonna jump, that's what you need is your boot on the takeoff, right? So I'm like, true. Oh my god, the air you would get out of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, a friend of ours I could just
see Dave doing that, driving a Tesla and jumping it with a Rattler in his hand. And...
He can't breathe. Okay. Who bought the
Jaguar? He bought from Europe, God damn it.
A friend of ours, he bought an electric Jaguar, like an electric whatever. I don't know the model name or anything like that, but he bought it last year. It's like stepping into a shuttle in a sci-fi movie. Like, it's got lights everywhere and the whole thing. It's got all the bells and whistles. But we were over at their place having dinner one night sometime last year, not long after they got the car. And he said, yeah, you want to see something cool? And without even waiting for an answer, he just put his foot down on the gas. And that car, I thought my soul got left behind. Because, yeah, I mean... It was a fast like it was 0 to 500 kilometers an hour in like half a second, but there you go. It was amazing. But I think that ultimately, if of all the vehicles I would like to jump, it would definitely be. I think I would go DeLorean. If I could only do it once. I've always wanted to drive a DeLorean, and that would be it. Not because of any reason other than
Shane, I understand your impulse, and in your case, okay. I 100% approve. That is an awesome choice. I would choose exactly the same car, except for this.
Okay.
I'm taller than 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
DeLoreans.
They are not
beautiful.
Big cars.
They're a work of art. I don't fit in one.
I drove a Trans Am once. I've forgotten why. I think I was driving it for somebody else because they had to drive. They were selling it or something like that. But anyway, I had to drive this thing from somewhere in downtown Victoria out to Keating Crossroad, or somewhere out there, and I've discovered two things about Trans Ams. I'm too small. I could barely see over the dash, and I was so not used to that amount of torque. That car was astounding. And so, but I guess now, what kind of vehicle was Kit? Was Kit like some form of Trans Am of some sort?
Kit was a Trans Am,
Yeah. So I did not enjoy that experience because I couldn't. They were like these bucket seats you couldn't really raise up at all. Like they went up like half an inch or something. And I remember, I was like clinging to the steering wheel, trying to pull myself forward so I could see over the dash properly. Not my favorite vehicle, but now if it had like a steering wheel like the ones in Kit now, well, maybe I could get used to it. But it would have to talk to me though. I couldn't not have a car that talked to me. That's just hands down. It would have to like tell me nice things about its features and then it could tranquilize Scotty.
I still want to get one of those GPS things for the car that has William Daniels speaking.
Oh, like one of the sort of like those GPS, sort of the like the old
the portable GPS thing.
Like the directional thing where it talked to you. Where for a while those were really popular before phones really kind of caught up and took that market over. But you're thinking of TomTom. TomTom was those GPSs with maps in them that you had to manually update. It was really a hassle. But there was this huge financial push for people to actually make voices for these devices because it basically was the same script for every single one. And a friend of mine had one for his car, and he installed the one that had Yoda. He installed one that was I don't think he had the William Daniels. We had a bunch of sort of sci-fi pop sort of ones, which were cool. I mean, in 400 meters, left turn you will make. That kind of thing. But the one that he was embarrassed that he bought was the pornography one, which was basically this. You could choose a male or female voice, and it was basically like a porn star mid-coitus giving you directions. Like, okay, so like in 4 meters, you're gonna veer right. That kind of thing. It was utterly ridiculous. But he did basically. He used the Yoda, the Darth Vader, and the R2-D2 one, which you had no idea what R2-D2 was telling you to do, but apparently he was. So I mean, you could kind of figure it out. Oh, we're gonna make a left turn up, soon, and then you'd hear like R2-D2 scream at you for, I don't know, doing whatever. But I think there was also C-3PO as well. So. But those had a very short lifespan. They didn't really last because phones kind of caught up, and
I still use one.
Like you have one, you have like an old GPS thing in your car. Or something?
Well, I mean, we don't use it all the time. We only
does it talk to you though?
It does.
What does it say?
It just tells me when to turn.
Well, that's lame. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear like some robotic voice going, "You will turn in 400 feet." Like, no, that's lame. You got to have like somebody like really nail, like Al Pacino screaming at you your directions, like or Nicolas Cage. I mean, could you imagine Nicolas Cage telling you how to get somewhere? You're gonna bleed blood, whatever the hell the line is. But basically, any of those characters would sound exactly the same in my mind. But there you go. I upset the dog. Oh, I'm sorry. I screamed and the dog ran away. I apologize. Yeah, you go back on your bed. I have a dog under my feet right now. So, but basically, so one of those characters, I mean, who would not want Nicolas Cage screaming directions at you? I mean, come on. I mean, could you imagine like Keith Richards doing it? Like, you'd never get anywhere. I don't know. But
you'd feel really cool doing that, though.
That's true. I'm lost, and I don't care.
Exactly.
Because wherever I am now, I'm sure it's better than where I was.
You don't always get what you want.
Now, what about you, Locke? What kind of voice would you like having giving you directions when you're driving a car?
Voice giving me directions when I'm driving a car.
Like who would you want giving you directions? Would you have like
No,
I don't know.
no, wrong question.
Kim
No,
Richards?
I don't want anybody giving me directions when I'm driving a car.
You wouldn't want anyone giving you directions? No.
No,
Why not?
because I'm driving the car. You want to drive the car. You drive the fucking car. I'm not listening to your ass. You want to drive the car. You go ahead and drive the car.
I can see you getting out of your car at like 60 kilometers an hour. It's like, fine. You know what, Al Pacino? You drive, and then you just leap out of the car.
You know what would be the greatest voice? One of those things. George Costanza's mom.
Seriously,
Seinfeld.
George Costanza's mother? Really?
Yes.
Okay. I cannot picture what she sounds like. Oh God, I would have to watch that show a few more times. That surprises me, Locke. You would rather take no direction from technology. That's very unique these days.
Look, I generally know where I'm going anyway, don't I? Because I'm smart, intelligent. Yeah.
I could see you leaping out of the car and just, as you're getting out, you drop some sort of flammable material into the car and just watch it burn as it tries to dry itself. I'll get another one. It'll be fine, and Al Pacino won't be involved in that next one.
Julian wants in the voice of a Romulan commander.
Okay, that's true. We hadn't mentioned Star Trek at all. Like, I could picture
Star Trek.
Gul Dukat. No, he's not Romulan though. Who's the actor? Did the There Are Four Lights episode of TNG? That was David? What's his face?
Duchovny?
No, not David Duchovny. He was in Star Trek. He was in Star Trek 6 and 5.
The one that Spock was seduced by. I don't remember who that was.
Spock was seduced by what? What do you mean Spock was seduced by David?
One of the episodes.
I don't recall him being seduced by a Romulan.
This is what Julian's saying.
Hey, Julian, are we talking about the original series?
No, I think he's talking about Next Generation.
When was Spock bumping uglies with a Romulan? I mean, that's kind of weird, right?
Apparently, she was a hot alien.
A hot alien. Well, I remember there was an episode of the original series where Spock was like, he had some sort of, I don't know, mental thing or some sort of, poison, or he took drugs or whatever.
Fire.
He was firing his brains out, but I don't remember who that was. Was she a Romulan? If she was, I have no memory of that at all.
Nerds.
However, I haven't watched the original series for a while, so I've been trying to get somebody Julian, to watch it, but she refuses. Something about she doesn't want to see Shatner naked, so.
Who does?
I don't think any of us want to see Shatner naked. I mean, I don't want to see myself naked 90% of the time. So, I'm definitely like, hey, William, how's it going, man? Oh yeah, it's so great. Order of Canada, really? Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh God, I can't even think anymore. How long have we been online, boys? I don't even remember. When did we start?
I think we've been on for too long.
I think we've been on for too long because I'm starting to lose my mind. But thank you all for watching. We had a bunch of people talking to us in the chat and stuff like that again today. So I certainly hope that you are all doing well. We are fine. I hope you all stay safe. And of course, if you like what we're doing here, you of course can tell other people about it. You can hit all the social buttons and all that kind of stuff, and tell us all kinds of nice things of our personalities. And we will, of course, be back next Wednesday, where we'll be talking about pretty much what we did tonight. You'll probably see that all again, same time, same channel. So, as always, Alan, take us out.